It's your girl, Anna Monet, and I'm here today to share a story time with you of a series of events that happened that were rather paranormal, that led me to stop drinking alcohol. Here we go. My paranormal experience took place in the year 2014, 2015, and I was in my second year doing my undergrad. Now, this is when I moved away from home. I was living with my friends, living the life. I was out there doing my thing. Every other weekend, my friends and I would get together and, pre-drink and then go to the club, have fun, and yada, yada, yada. One specific night that we decided to do this, I had a weird feeling. So we were all positioned in the kitchen and we're all around like in a circle and we're pouring out shots. And something in my spirit that day or something in my gut just told me not to drink. And I didn't know why. I remember being there and I was like, I don't know why, I'm getting this feeling of not drinking. This is the norm. This is what we do. We're partiers. We go out there, we drink a lot, and we have fun because that's what the university experience is all about, especially when you're in your first or second year. Like, no one cares. So I had this feeling and I ignored it. And I said, you know what? Whatever. It's not that serious. I'm just going to chug back these shots and have a great time. We ended up going to the club, having a great time. And then we got back. We decided to all sleep over at a couple of my friends' house. Like, they all roomed together. We decided to go back to their place and sleep because we didn't want to trek all the way back to our other place. Me and another friend of mine decided to sleep on they had a pull-out couch in a living room or like a family room. The room had an open entrance. There was a hallway in the middle. And then if you were to sit in the room, you'd be facing the staircase that is directly in front of the door. So if someone opened the door, we could see them coming down the steps and opening the door, walking out or walking in. We're getting ready for bed now. And before I fall asleep, I look into the darkness of the room because there were no lights on. And I could see like this shadow in front of the staircase. And I didn't really think much of it. I was like, okay, well, I'm kind of drunk right now, so it's probably not that big of a deal, and brushed it off. Then I fell asleep. So I fell asleep and I started to dream. My dream started off like this. I was with this guy. In the dream, it felt like we were friends, like we knew each other for a very long time, and he was someone that I was very familiar with. He was showing me this house, and on the outside, it looked very old and crusty. When we walked inside, it looked big, like a temple. It was big, it was bright, there were plants hanging from the ceilings, there was light beaming through the house, and it just looked so divine. The best thing I can link it to is the design of a ancient Greek temple, right? The structure. If I can insert a picture, I'll insert a picture here. It's a temple and it comes with like columns at the side. That's what it kind of looked like. And so he's guiding me through this house, and as I'm walking, I'm looking around, trying to really take in the beauty of this architecture. And he just darts off as I'm still in awe of this beautiful masterpiece. He pops back up to say like, oh, hi, like, did you miss me? Here I am. What's up? And I said, oh, there you are. Whatever, nothing out of the ordinary. And then he runs again. And this time when he ran to the right. And I was like, oh, there's more things to see in the right. Okay, all right, cool. So I'm walking. And then I turn to the right, and as soon as I turn to the right, everything behind me collapses. Like, there was no white light, there was no brightness, there was no ancient Greek looking columns. It's just dark. It's just dark, and it looks like a black hole is behind me. I have no other choice but to, just turn right and see what happens. So as I'm turning right, I look and the hallway is completely different. It's this narrow, dark hallway, and there are like flickering lights at the top of this hallway. And at the end of the hallway to the left, there's an open door. And I can see there's an open door because there's light shining from the end of the hallway. So I'm like, all right, cool, I don't really like the way this is feeling. I've seen these horror movies. Like, this is what I'm saying in my head as I'm dreaming. I'm like, I don't really like the way this is going, but it's just a dream. It's not that serious. I end up walking down the hallway. I turn to the left. And when I turn to the left, I enter this room with mirrors. There are like 360 mirrors all around. And so as I'm walking in, I start to feel weird, like a presence is coming over me and I don't know where it's coming from. It didn't really feel like fair. It didn't really feel like I was in danger, really. It just felt like I didn't want to be there. Something in my spirit was like, you know what? This is getting weird. This is about to get extreme. It's time for you to wake up. And I was trying to wake myself up, actually, but we'll get further into those details later. So I'm walking into this room. I'm walking up to this mirror, and as I'm walking closer to the mirror, I end up being completely naked. I'm just completely in the nude. And so I walk to the mirror and I'm starting to touch my face and I'm looking and I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And then as I'm moving and I'm moving and I'm moving, my reflection stops moving back. My reflection stops moving. And it was at that point that I realized I needed to wake the frig up. But I couldn't wake myself up. And normally when I have dreams, I'm able to shake myself out of it and just say, oh, it's a dream, whatever, and just, wake up. Or if something is happening in my dream that I don't like, I just kind of change it in my head. But for some strange reason, on this particular night, there was no way I could, one, wake myself up, and two, alter my dream in any way. So when my reflection didn't move back and I was aware that my reflection was no longer moving, remember the figure that I told you I saw before I fell asleep? Okay, yeah. This figure pops back up into my dream as I'm realizing that, things aren't going well with me and myself in my reflection. And it held me down to the ground and basically started chanting in my ear, like, we are going to take over this body. Like, this body is now a vessel and all this crazy stuff. And while all of this is happening, I'm just like, Anna, like, wake up, wake yourself up. You're dreaming. Why aren't you waking up? This is so unlike you. So I'm trying to wake myself up. And I couldn't wake up. I felt stuck. I felt like this thing, as it was chanting in my ears, I know it sounds crazy, but it almost felt like it was ripping my soul from my body. Like, when people say, oh yeah, I had an out of body experience. It's like I wasn't. Listen, I actually felt like I was having an out of body experience. Like, because my soul was leaving my body. It was leaving my body and it wasn't going to return. That's how I felt. And the feeling that I got from that situation is something that I don't even think I can sit here and fully describe to you to get you to understand. For some strange reason, while I was fighting this demon thing and trying to keep my soul attached to my body, I started to call out the name Jesus. And I was like, and then held my tongue and I couldn't say anything. And I was like, oh my God. All I could get out was like just, and then I woke up. That's all I said. I was like, and then I woke up. And when I woke up, I remember I hopped to the side of the bed and I was like clutching my chest and I was breathing so hard. I was sweating. My heart was pounding in my ears. Oh my gosh, my heart was beating. I was in a panic. And my friend who was sleeping beside me, she turned over and she's like, oh my God, are you okay? And I'm like, yo, like, I almost, like, I'm panicking. I'm really, really having a hard time. And then she says to me, she kept flipping and tossing in the bed. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, like, I was sleeping beside you and my back was faced towards you, but I felt you flipping and like literally like jerking your body in the bed. And I said, really? So why didn't you wake me? She's like, funny story is I was going to wake you, but something alarmed me not to. Like I literally was just like frozen and I couldn't turn around. I was like, oh my gosh. So the reason why this story was so triggering to me was basically because of the feeling that I had prior to the dream. Remember when I was taking shots with my friends, as I stated earlier? I had this feeling that I wasn't supposed to drink that night. And for some reason, being the rebellious young individual that I was, I said, yeah, no, doesn't matter. I'm going to drink. Like, who am I to tell myself not to drink? No. And I ended up drinking, and I thought that the dream was just something that had no real connection. And it was after that I realized that I could no longer continue the lifestyle that I was living, because I felt that if I had continued on the path that I was on, something bad was going to happen to me. And I put that to the test, because logically speaking, how can you have a dream and then have these reactions, whatever, like it's just in your mind. But I did put it to the test. And even after, when my friends would invite me out and say, oh, like we're going to drink, I would take a sip of alcohol and just could not stomach it. Like that same feeling that I got in the kitchen, the same feeling that I got in my dream when this thing was hovering over me and I felt like my soul was being ripped from my body, is the same feeling I got every time I took a sip of alcohol. And I said, this is not a coincidence. My message to all of you is, sometimes we don't have all the answers. Sometimes we really and truly don't understand why we are experiencing the things that we're experiencing. But I do believe that when we are in a situation that is unfavorable, there is an intuitive guide. There is an awareness that is brought to us, even briefly, that if we don't pay attention to it, bad things will happen. So till this day, that dream, those feelings still plague me very regularly. And I find myself staying away from alcohol because I felt like that moment that I had gave me an insight as to the path that I was taking in my life, or the path that I was potentially going down. And it's something that I can't ignore anymore. That's the end of my story time. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It's your girl, Anna Monet. Bye, guys. We got these lemons, baby.